All right, so get this. Listeners wanted to do a deep dive on DeepSeek, this Chinese AI company that's kind of come out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
We've got articles from AI Magazine, the Economic Times, and Forbes, and let me tell you, things are going to get interesting here.
Yeah, it seems like the AI world was pretty much just humming along.
Yeah.
U.S. companies kind of in the lead, and then bam, DeepSeek just kind of drops this bombshell.
It just kind of comes out of nowhere. So first, they're saying they built their top-performing R1 model for a fraction of the cost of their U.S. rivals, like $6 million.
Yeah, I saw that. That's crazy.
Then their mobile app just shoots to the top of the Apple App Store charts, beats out ChatGPT.
Wow.
And the kicker, this caused like a mini panic on Wall Street. Tech giants like NVIDIA lost billions in value.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
So is this a true turning point in AI, or is there something else going on?
Right.
Let's dive in.
So what's really got me intrigued is how DeepSeek managed to, achieve this level of disruption so quickly. The articles, they kind of point to a combination of factors here, like their founder's background, the way their team is put together, and their use of technology, their approach to technology.
It's interesting. Their founder, Liang Wenfeng, he was a hedge fund manager, not exactly your typical AI background.
Not at all, no.
And then the company's mostly made up of these young graduates from top Chinese universities. It's like they put together this team of like whiz kids and said, all right, go rewrite the rules.
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? That unconventional background, maybe that gave them a fresh perspective, a different way of looking at problems. And it's really interesting that their R1 model, it's described as a reasoning system, which basically means that it explains its steps before it gives an answer, which I think is a really key difference from other leading models.
Yeah, so they're not just spitting out answers. They're showing their work.
Right.
That's pretty cool. But, the articles also mentioned that this R1 model is being compared to, or even said to be better than, models from companies like OpenAI and Google.
Right.
So, they're really swinging for the fences here.
Yeah, they are. And the benchmarks on platforms like Chatbot Arena seem to support their claims. It's worth noting, Chatbot Arena allows users to directly compare the performance of different chatbots, and DeepSeek's R1 model has consistently ranked very highly, which, of course, contributes to its rapid rise in popularity.
Right. So it's not just hype. They have the data to back it up.
Mm-hmm.
But how does a company with a relatively small team and budget manage to outperform giants like Google? That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is, and the articles point to a few key factors. One is DeepSeek's focus on efficiency. They're claiming to have developed R1 for a mere $6 million, which is a tiny fraction of what U.S. companies have invested. So it raises these really interesting questions about how we approach AI development, and whether there might be,
more cost-effective methods. Yeah, $6 million. That's like, I don't know, a fancy sports car.
Right.
Compared to the billions these other companies are spending. Is it even possible to develop cutting-edge AI on such a tight budget?
That's what has a lot of experts puzzled. The Bernstein analyst, Stacey Rozgon, for instance, has actually publicly questioned DeepSeek's claims about those development costs. There's speculation they might be using open source technology and publicly available data sets to a greater extent than their competitors.
So maybe they're finding clever ways to work smarter, not harder. I guess you don't always need $1 billion budget to make a big impact.
Right. I think this challenges the assumption that massive investment is the only path to those AI breakthroughs. DeepSeek's approach seems to be about agility, resourcefulness, and that might be giving them a real edge in this quickly evolving field.
And speaking of impact, DeepSeek's arrival has kind of sent a ripple through the entire AI ecosystem, wouldn't you say?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. The articles describe it as a chain reaction, starting with, the app topping the charts. They actually had outages because of the high traffic, and then there was the shockwave that hit the stock market. Companies like NVIDIA, Microsoft, Meta, they all saw big drops in their value.
It's just like they threw a rock into a still pond.
Yeah.
And the ripples are still spreading. These are some serious consequences. What do you think this says about the current state of the AI market?
Well, it suggests a certain level of vulnerability, maybe even complacency among those established players. DeepSeek's success might be a wake-up call, forcing these companies to kind of reevaluate how they're approaching things, their strategies, and adapt to this much more competitive landscape.
It's like they were caught off guard.
Yeah.
They didn't see this coming at all.
Right.
And now they're scrambling to catch up.
Yeah, I think DeepSeek's rapid rise has definitely exposed some blind spots in the industry. It also highlights the importance of staying ahead of the curve and really anticipating emerging trends, especially in a field like AI.
Yeah. And then there's the whole geopolitical angle, right?
Of course.
We can't ignore that DeepSeek is a Chinese company. And their success, it's being viewed by some as a challenge to U.S. dominance in AI.
Right. And the articles point out that DeepSeek's emergence, it kind of coincides with the Biden administration's efforts to restrict China's access to that advanced technology, especially those high-end chips that are needed for AI development.
Yeah, it's creating a very fascinating dynamic.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like this high-stakes game of chess, with each side trying to outmaneuver the other. And DeepSeek's success is definitely shaking things up.
Yeah.
It's almost as if they're saying, hey, we don't need your chips. We could still win this race.
Right. That perceived defiance, I think it adds another layer of complexity here, raises questions about the effectiveness of those export controls and whether they might actually be fueling China's drive to become self-reliant when it comes to AI development.
So not only are they disrupting the tech world, they're also kind of becoming this symbol of China's growing technological ambition.
Yeah, it's a powerful statement. Yeah.
It definitely adds a geopolitical dimension to this whole story. And it's going to be something that's closely watched by governments and industry leaders alike.
But let's not forget, there is still a lot of skepticism surrounding DeepSeek. The articles mention some experts who called their claims about development costs highly misleading. And there are these rumors about them potentially using those restricted NVIDIA H100 chips.
Right, despite the export controls.
Yeah.
Those are important points to consider. I think it's crucial to separate the hype from the reality here.
Yeah, so the big question is DeepSeek the real deal, or are they just a flash in the pan?
Right.
Are they truly revolutionizing AI? Or are we all just getting caught up in the excitement of a good underdog story?
That's what we'll explore further. In the next part of our deep dive, we'll delve into the specifics of their technology, their potential for long-term impact, and the challenges that they might face. Moving forward, all right, so we've laid the groundwork here, explored DeepSeek's origins, their quick rise to fame, the ripples they've created in both the tech world and the geopolitical landscape. But there's so much more to uncover. We'll be back after a quick break to delve even deeper into this DeepSeek phenomenon. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. So we left off talking about all the skepticism surrounding DeepSeek, particularly their claim of developing their R1 model for just $6 million.
Yeah, it does seem almost too good to be true. Like, how can they possibly compete with these big companies that are pouring billions into AI development? What's the secret?
Well, one theory is that they're strategically using open source technology. Remember, they claim to have built R1 using mostly readily available tools and data sets. This is a pretty significant departure from the more guarded approach of companies like OpenAI and Google.
So instead of building everything from scratch, they're kind of leveraging the collective wisdom of the open source community. That's a pretty clever way to cut costs. But doesn't it also make them vulnerable? I mean, couldn't anyone just copy their technology?
That's a really good point. And it gets at the heart of the whole open source debate. On the one hand, you have the potential for really rapid innovation and collaboration, everyone contributing to this shared pool of knowledge. But on the other hand, you do have that risk of losing control of your intellectual property and potentially seeing it used in ways that you might not have intended.
Yeah, it's a real high-risk, high-reward strategy. But it seems to be paying off for DeepSeek so far. They're getting a lot of attention, and they're forcing the industry to rethink how they approach AI development.
Right. DeepSeek's success has definitely sparked a conversation about the potential benefits and challenges of open source AI. Some experts believe it could lead to a democratization of AI, empowering smaller players, individuals, to contribute to this rapidly evolving field.
So instead of AI development being dominated by a handful of huge corporations, we could see a more diverse and decentralized landscape, with innovation coming from all these unexpected places. That's pretty exciting.
It is. It really has the potential to shake things up. Imagine a world where anyone with the right skills and motivation can contribute to developing AI tools and applications. We could see a burst of creativity and innovation, with solutions emerging from all corners of the globe.
That's a far cry from where we are now, where access to this advanced AI is largely controlled by just a few powerful companies. But let's be realistic for a second. Those companies are not just going to sit back and watch DeepSeek disrupt the entire industry, are they?
Of course not. And The article suggests that. DeepSeek's success has put those companies on notice. They're scrambling to adapt, whether that's investing more heavily in their own open source initiatives or by exploring different strategies to stay competitive.
Like DeepSeek threw down the gauntlet.
Yeah.
And now the giants are waking up and realizing, okay, we need to step up our game.
It's going to be fascinating to see how this all plays out.
Oh, absolutely.
It's almost like a David versus Goliath scenario, right? You've got DeepSeek challenging the established order, forcing the industry to evolve. And this battle isn't just confined to the tech world. It has geopolitical implications as well.
Right. We were talking earlier about how DeepSeek's success is being seen by some as a sign of China's growing technological power. It's almost like a symbolic victory for them, especially given the U.S. attempts to restrict their access to those advanced chips.
Right. The articles definitely highlight that. DeepSeek's emergence is being closely watched by policymakers and analysts on both sides of the Pacific. Some are viewing it as a potential turning point in the U.S.-China tech rivalry, with China demonstrating that it can innovate and compete even with those restrictions in place.
It's like they found a way to circumvent those restrictions and still come out on top. That's got to be concerning for the U.S., don't you think? I mean, if they can do this with AI, what's next?
It definitely raises questions about the long-term effectiveness of those export controls. If China can develop world-class AI without relying on U.S. technology, well, it could shift the balance of power in the global tech landscape.
So we could be heading toward a future where AI development is much more multipolar, with China playing a leading role alongside the U.S. That's a pretty significant shift from where we are today.
It's a possibility that analysts and policymakers are taking seriously. And it's not just China. Other countries are also investing heavily in AI research and development. The global AI race is heating up, and it's no longer a two-horse race.
Okay, so DeepSeek is disrupting the tech world, challenging geopolitical norms, and potentially reshaping the future of AI development. But what does this actually mean for the average person? How is all of this going to affect our lives?
That's the million-dollar question, and it's not an easy one to answer. The impact of AI is going to be profound, and it's going to reach far and wide, touching everything from how we work to the way we interact with the world around us.
It's exciting and a little bit scary all at the same time.
Right, yeah.
On the one hand, we have the potential for incredible advancements in healthcare, education, countless other fields. But then there's the concerns about job displacement, algorithmic bias, and the ethical implications of increasingly powerful AI.
Those are all valid concerns, and they highlight just how important it is to have open and honest conversations about the potential benefits and risks of AI. We need to approach this technology with a sense of both optimism and caution, making sure that its development is guided by ethical principles and a focus on human well-being.
So DeepSeek might just be a catalyst for positive change, pushing us towards a future where AI benefits everyone. But it's up to us, as a society, to shape that future and make sure that we don't lose sight of the human element in the midst of all this technological advancement.
I completely agree. The decisions that we make today, both individually and collectively, they're going to determine the course of this AI revolution and ultimately its impact on our lives.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground here, exploring DeepSeek's open source approach, the geopolitical implications of their success, and the potential impact of AI on all our lives.
We've also touched on those broader trends that are shaping the AI landscape, the potential benefits and risks of this technology, and the importance of staying informed and engaging in this really crucial conversation.
But before we wrap up this episode, I want to go back to one key aspect of DeepSeek's story: their unique approach to transparency.
Oh, yes. Their commitment to explaining their R1 model's reasoning process. It's a really fascinating aspect that sets them apart from so many other players in the AI field.
Right. It's like they're lifting the curtain, letting us peek behind the scenes, showing us how their AI actually works.
Yeah.
You know, most companies treat their algorithms like these closely guarded secrets, but DeepSeek seems to be going down a completely different path.
It's a bold move, and it's definitely sparked a lot of debate in the AI community. Some argue that this level of transparency is essential for building trust in AI systems, especially as they become more powerful and more integrated into our lives.
It's like they're saying, hey, we're not hiding anything. We want you to understand how our AI works so you can trust it. That's a pretty powerful message, especially in a world where people are becoming more and more wary of these black box algorithms making decisions that affect their lives.
It's definitely a refreshing approach, and it raises some really interesting questions about the future of AI development. Will other companies follow DeepSeek's lead and embrace transparency, or will they continue to operate in secrecy?
It's almost like a philosophical debate about the nature of AI. Should it be this mysterious force
Yeah.
that we just blindly trust? Or should we demand to understand how it works and how it's making decisions?
That's a debate that's only going to intensify. As AI becomes more sophisticated and more pervasive in our lives, DeepSeek's approach, whether it ultimately succeeds or not, has definitely added fuel to that fire.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive into DeepSeek. Explored their origins, their technology, the implications of their success, the challenges they face.
We've also touched upon those broader trends that are shaping the AI landscape, the potential benefits and risks of this technology, and the importance of staying informed and engaging in this conversation.
But before we conclude, I want to leave you with this thought. DeepSeek's story is a reminder that the world of technology is constantly evolving, and the future is full of surprises. What might seem impossible today could become commonplace tomorrow.
Absolutely. And it underscores the importance of staying curious, adaptable, open to new possibilities. The AI revolution is still in its early stages, and the most exciting chapters are yet to be written.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we encourage you to continue exploring the world of AI. Keep asking questions, challenging assumptions. The future of this technology is in our hands, and it's up to all of us to shape it in a way that benefits humanity. Until next time, keep diving. We've been talking a lot about DeepSeek's impact, I guess, on the AI world, the tech industry, even the global landscape. But I think it's important to maybe zoom in a little bit and consider what this means for you, the listener.
Yeah, you're right. It's easy to get caught up in the big picture, but technology's impact is ultimately felt at the individual level.
Exactly. So let's bring it down to earth for a minute. How might DeepSeek's rise and these trends that they represent affect your work, your life, or even just how you think about the world?
Well, one thing to think about is the potential impact on your industry. As AI becomes more sophisticated, more affordable, thanks in part to companies like DeepSeek, it's really likely to start automating those tasks and processes that were previously done by humans.
Yeah, and that's a big one, right? People have been talking about AI taking jobs for years, and it seems like that's finally starting to happen. But it's not necessarily all doom and gloom, right?
Right, exactly. While it's true that some jobs will inevitably be displaced, AI is also going to create all kinds of new opportunities. It's likely to lead to new industries, new job roles, even new ways of working that we haven't even begun to imagine.
So it's not just about losing jobs, it's more about adapting to this changing landscape and really acquiring the skills that you'll need to thrive in a world that is powered by AI. So what kind of skills are we talking about here?
Well, obviously, those technical skills related to AI development and data analysis, they're going to be in really high demand. But I think just as important are those uniquely human skills. Critical thinking, creativity, problem solving. Those are much harder for machines to replicate.
So it's not just about becoming a programmer. It's about developing those human skills that complement and can work alongside AI systems.
Exactly.
It's about finding that sweet spot where human and artificial intelligence can work together really effectively.
Absolutely. And this goes way beyond just the workplace. AI is going to impact our daily lives in countless ways, from the way we shop to how we consume information to even how we interact with our friends and family.
Yeah, and we're already seeing that now. AI-powered recommendation engines shape what we see online. Voice assistants are answering our questions, controlling our smart homes. And personalized algorithms are curating our news feeds.
Right, and as AI gets even more sophisticated, these trends are only going to accelerate. So I think the key is to be aware of how these technologies are shaping our lives and to make conscious choices about how we want to interact with them.
It's about being an informed and empowered participant in this AI revolution, right? Not just a passive consumer. And I think DeepSeek's story is a great reminder that we, as individuals, actually have a role to play in shaping the future of this technology.
I completely agree. DeepSeek's success, however it unfolds, has shown that the AI landscape, it's way more dynamic and unpredictable than we might have thought. It's a reminder that innovation can come from unexpected places and that the old rules don't always apply.
So whether you're a tech enthusiast, a business leader, or just someone trying to navigate, all the complexities of the modern world, DeepSeek's story offers some really valuable lessons.
It really does. It teaches us to be adaptable, to embrace change, and to never underestimate the power of human ingenuity, even when faced with seemingly insurmountable challenges.
Well, this brings us to the end of our deep dive into DeepSeek. Hopefully you found this insightful and something you can think about. We covered a lot, from the company's origins and technology to the implications for the AI industry, the geopolitical landscape, and even our own individual lives.
It's been a fascinating journey, and I think DeepSeek's story is really just one chapter in this ongoing saga of the AI revolution.
And as we've seen, this revolution is full of twists and turns, surprises, challenges, but ultimately, it's a story that we're all writing together.
Absolutely. So stay curious, stay informed, stay engaged. The future of AI is in our hands. It's up to all of us to shape it in a way that benefits humanity.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time.